We got a U.S. General Harbor Freight 16 drawer toolbox. There's the top box. Got one of these boxes, and one of the things about it is it's a little flimsy. At least it tends to, the whole box tends to torque a bit. And there's another video on YouTube that is pretty useful about how to actually add reinforcement to the base of the unit here. And I've got a welder, so we're gonna do some welding here instead of just bolting things. And I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. I don't have an exact plan as to what I'm going to do, but the trick is we need to stiffen the base of the box here. Now, if anybody needs to know this, here are the drawer slides. They come out pretty easy. All the drawers come out, so no big deal. Oh, I don't know if we're going to replace these casters or not. I think it would be useful to replace them. It's just they can be a little, 13 bucks a piece is, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we get to replace them. But one of the things that we noticed immediately was that the caster, if you look at it, the caster's inboard about 1.5 inches. And it'd be nice to make this a little bit wider stance. That way we can have tools on it and not have it act like it's top heavy. Because it is going to be top heavy anyway. Okay, so that's that. And we'll see what we do here. So we're looking at the base of the cabinet here. These are actually 14mm bolts that are holding the casters on. The best thing to use this, to get these off with, is a gear wrench, 14mm. So, one thing you'll notice immediately is that we got ribs that go up and down here, but no ribs that go across. That was pointed out in another video. This is not something I discovered, so somebody else got this before me, but I think that's really important to note, and it helps, if you had a rib here, it would kind of help stiffen the box front to back and not so it doesn't twist quite so much. The whole box tends to twist. So we're going to see what we can come up with for that, just to stiffen that up a little bit. So what we're going to do here is we've got some 4-inch wide, 1/8 inch thick strapping, and this whole thing is torsionally not rigid enough, so we're going to try to increase that. So first off, we're putting strapping on, and we've got recessed Allen bolts that are going into the stock holes. I believe these are M8, but I don't remember for sure. And so this piece of strapping is on here with these nice chamfered recesses. And we're going to put a little bit of a reinforcement in there. Just a piece of angle. It's 3/8 inch thick. This lip is rather 3/8 inch high. Yeah, that'll be fine. Look at that. So we're going to weld this to the back side of this, and that way this will be rigid this direction, more or less. And once we have that, then we'll hopefully add some actually thicker strapping here that will allow us to place the casters where we want them. So this is more or less a bolt-on adapter for what we're going to do as a welded piece. That'll get welded here, and the whole thing will be incredibly rigid at least. These are M8 bolts that I'm using by 1.25 by 30. They have an Allen head on them, and they're chamfered for flush mounting. The stock bolt is on the right, again M8 by 1.25. So just figured I'd show you guys what I'm using, and I got these from ASMC Industrial, and that was on eBay. So they come in a package of 25. That'll do. They look like nice bolts. One piece of equipment that I highly recommend the DeWalt impacts. I really like them a lot. I've got the whole, or at least I've got quite a few of the XRP set, so getting an impact was no-brainer. What's really nice about these, this is a 3/8 actually model, but you can get, Nico makes these nice sets of impact rated Allens, And so we get a 5mm Allen in there. It just makes life a whole lot easier putting these on, taking them off, that type of stuff. You guys like my shirt? So here I am, welding equipment and all, and I'm working on this piece. So all I'm doing is adding thickness, and in this form, and you're going to see why when we take this back to the tool chest. So here we go, all kinds of fun. Gonna do a few more tack welds here. Don't want to do it too close to the camera, so just gonna tack weld there, all the way around, and then it should be fine. So here's the plate. Here's the back side of the plate, and all I did was I put these pieces of it. All this is angle sliced, 3/8 of an inch thick. And that allows this to give some thickness, and the plate goes on here like that, and the thickness will touch here. There'll be a V here essentially, so I've got a little more surface area contacting the most rigid part of the existing frame here. And I've already got one mounted up. Not completely, but and it looks pretty good and rigid. So next we'll be welding something to this that the wheels can go on. Haven't exactly decided where we want the wheels, but for sure, you know, you got a whole lot of space here. From here, to the outer edge is more than an inch, and if you could bring the caster out that much, even just flush, on both sides, top and bottom, it makes a huge difference for stability. So we're going to go for that. Let's see. What we have here now are a couple other pieces I put on here. They're not hard on here right yet, but you get the idea. I'm going to weld these pieces down, and this one I'm actually going to put a little further forward, maybe not quite that much, but a little further forward. Again, the more stability this direction for the box, the better. I put a couple of holes. I'm going to weld in the hole, and I'm going to weld on here, just a bead this way, and that should be fine. Don't need a lot of stability that direction. And then I'll take the casters and weld them down to these pieces, which you'll see in a minute. Here we are, all welded up. So, got a little bit of extra on the end here. The stock spot for the wheel was probably about here, but now we're here. And that'll give this whole cart a whole pile of extra stability, especially towards the front, so it'll be less likely to tip forward on you. Yikes, really cooked this poor box, but we got some welds going here, some tack welds, just tacks. Don't need to run beads or anything like that, at least I wouldn't. This is about $1,000 worth of metal fabrication for a really cheap toolbox, but after spending all day on it, it's not too bad. You can certainly do this about a million ways. I chose to do it this way. I guess I can put some rigidity this way if I feel like it. Just looking at it now and looking at how stiff this actually is, I kind of doubt I'm going to do that. I don't think I need to stiffen this anymore torsionally. I'm going to put this box back together and we'll see how she rolls. And there we have it. Casters are welded on, and they stick out just a little bit further in the front. So, as opposed to being not so far out. But what this helps with is the tippiness. You know, this thing is awful tall, it tends to be tippy, you know. So at this point, now you can lean on these things and it's not tippy. We got some pretty darn heavy drawers on these. At this point, not a problem. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, and thank you for subscribing.